What's going on, guys? It's Roblox, and today we're doing the episode 2 of the beginner developer series here in Roblox Studio. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the basics of scripting. Last video we touched base on how to navigate through Roblox Studio. So if you're pretty new to Roblox Studio and this is your first time here, and you don't really know, understand all this and that, I highly recommend you to watch the last video. I'll have it in the description below, and I'll have a little thing show up in the top right of the video here saying hey, click on me or something like that. It is a necessity. You need to understand it. It's not something you can skip. It's a little boring. I'll give you that. It is a little boring, but you need it. If you don't understand how to navigate through Roblox Studio, you will never become a developer. I'm just going to give it to you straight. You never will. You'll be constantly stressed out when you get lost through the tutorials moving on. And you just need to understand. So now that's out of the way, let's get started in today's video. So first we're going to add a script. And like I said in the last video, you can add that here. We're going to add it to the workspace. You can just click on that little addition button when you hover over workspace. And we're just going to click on script. Right? And as you can see, we've been displayed this different screen. And it looks a little different. We can't see our base plate, we can't move around, and that's because we're actually looking at our script here. And as you've probably noticed, we have been greeted with this line of code, and it says print hello world, and that's in quotation marks inside of parentheses. Now what is going on here? Let me break that down for you. So I'm not going to say too technical terms because I know you're brand new and I don't want to confuse you. So we're just going to call this print command. We're just going to call this a command line, right? So if I were to type in print, it turns blue. But if I were to type in pizza, it doesn't. And it's all grayed out, because it's not a command. But print is a command. And print requires these parentheses. And what we put inside these parentheses is completely up to you. Here we have the hello world. Now, what would happen if I were to just execute the script? If I were to press play, what would happen? So actually what would happen is here in the output, we would have a message that says, that displays the words hello world. And if you don't have this output, go to view, the view tab up here. You're going to click on that and you're going to find output and make sure that's open. Whenever you're scripting or developing here on Roblox Studio, be sure to have the output open. This is where anything that's printed, like any messages that you want to have printed, is going to be displayed. Any errors and scripts, they're also going to be displayed in a bright red in the output, so they're easily identifiable. And warnings. Warnings aren't detrimental. They're going to be displayed in yellow, but they can be helpful. I'm not going to get too deep into those, but make sure you have your output open whenever you are developing in Roblox. So anyways, let's test that real quick. If I were to press play, we should see in our output here, hello world. As you can see here, there it is. We're golden. Now I can put anything I want here. I could put pizza is good. I could put I love cats. I could just spam, literally anything I want. But like I said, you can literally put any text in here you want, and whatever you put in here, it will be displayed here in the output. And just another little quick thing for you guys to learn is when you have a bunch of text like this or stuff that's just getting overwhelmed, you can right click inside the output and just press clear output and it'll all disappear for you. So here I'm just going to put I love petting my pet cat. And we can actually do another line. I also love petting my pet dog. Now you may have noticed that this text is green and that I have these quotes. Now chances are, if you are following along with me and you're actually typing it with me, you may have missed something. you may have typed in, whatever you want. I love cats. And as you can see, it's all grayed out. And there's red lines, and you may be confused. Oh, why is his green and mine's not? Well, that's because you missed these quotation marks, which you need, because this is called a string. And what basically a string is a group of letters and characters, spaces, letters, whatever. Whenever you have words, really, like names or stuff like that, that you just want, just words that you want printed, sentences you want printed, etc., they need to be in quotation marks, and you need to create the string. So if I were to try and play the game right now, we would have it printed out. I love petting my pet cat, and I also love petting my dog. And then we'd get in red text some error, mostly for a syntax error, and that basically just means, hey, your code's all messed up. So just make sure that you have the quotes like we do up here, right? All right, so I want you to type out your own print command, and I want you to run the game, and I want you to look at and remember your first line of code you've ever written. All right, so sweet, you finally learned how to script something. Now, it might not be much, but it's something, and you should be proud of that. So now what we're going to be doing is you learned how to print. You learned how to print text, but let's learn how to print a color. All right, a color in Roblox. And there's multiple ways we can do this, but I'm going to teach you a way where you're also learning a fundamental part of scripting as well. So you can take this, and in pretty much almost any script you're going to be using this kind of scripting. And it's super simple, right? So I just inserted this part. Like this, let's make this part pretty big because we're going to be using this a lot during this video. All right, we got this big old part here. And it's looking like a pretty ugly gray, right? But we don't know what the color is. What we can do is we can use a script to do that. So what we can do is we're going to use the print command again. And inside of this parentheses, we're not going to be using quotes because this is not a string. Remember, a string is like a sentence, like I love pizza, cats are my favorite animal, Roblox is cool, whatever. We're not going to be doing that. What we're actually going to be doing in this script is finding this part. We want to get the properties of this part. Here we have all the properties listed here, but we want to print the brick color, right? So in order to do that, we have to find it. The script needs direction. And how we do that is we type in game dot workspace dot part. Now let me explain what I just did. So here in the last video, we explained that this is your Explorer window. Here, obviously, we have the workspace, players, lighting, replicated first, etc. We have all this stuff here, right? And if we open up the workspace, we have the camera, terrain, the script that we added, the spawn location, which is this little guy right here, our base plate, and the part that we added. All this is inside of workspace. Now, all of these things are in a thing called game, which is why we type this in here. And in order to access the workspace, we typed in a little period. Oops. We typed in a period, and then we typed in a workspace. And we wanted to get to this part right here, that's inside of workspace. So we put in another period and then part. So think of it as a folder. Here, let me kind of visualize it for you real quick. Let me open up Paint. Right? All right, so we have the game. Yep, we have the game here. And the workspace is inside of the game. Right? And the part is inside of the workspace. So in order to go from game to workspace to part, we just use periods, as you can see here. And Roblox, I should say Roblox, computer code is very picky when you are writing lines of code, and you need to make sure that you use correct capitalization and no capitalization. As you can see, game was not capitalized. Never capitalized game. You don't have to capitalize workspace. That is an exception, but I want you to get in the habit of always capitalizing when you need to. So we see in the Explorer, W is capitalized, so we're going to capitalize it in here. Like I said, it is not a requirement. However, I want you to get in the habit of doing it because literally in every other circumstance, you must capitalize when you need to. I don't know why Roblox designed the Lua this way, but I want you to get in the habit. So I want you to start doing that. And as you can see with the part, we have a capital P in the name part. So we have a capital P here. Now, if this, let's say this was named something else. Let's say we named this color brick. This is no longer valid because part is no longer inside of workspace. It is color brick. So what we need to do is we need to type that in. Now, like I was explaining earlier, lowercase b, we would get an error because there is no such thing called color brick with a lowercase b inside of workspace. It has a capital B, so we need to make sure that it is a capital B in our script as well. So we have the game.workspace.colorbrick, and we're going to go in the properties now, dot brick color. And as you can see, it's here. So if you press play, it will tell us the color of our color brick. As you can see, it is the color of medium stone gray. That is the name of the color that this part here is. So let's change it to just some random one, not even looking to look. All right, so it's the color moss. As you can see, it's unchanged. All right, cool. So far you have learned how to print things, right? We learned how to print. I think cats are cool. I love petting my cat. I also love petting my dog. And you learned how to find parts in a script. And we used both of those things that we've learned so far in our script. We learned how to print. We learned how to find parts or things inside of a script. And then we used those two things to print off the brick color of our part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit more advanced, but I trust that you can do it. We're going to change the color of this part inside of a script. And what we're going to do is we're going to randomize the color. So just like we learned earlier, we got to go to game, workspace, part. We're going to do game.workspace.colorbrick. And remember, we named it color brick, so we have to call it by that. And as you can see, we have this red line. We have everything correct. It's just we haven't finished the line of code yet. So the computer's still kind of confused. So it's kind of telling us, hey, either you messed up or you're not done yet. And I do dot brick color. We're accessing the property equals brick color dot random. And we're basically, what this means is, all right, so we're going to the game workspace. We're going to this color. We're going to the brick color property. And this equal signs mean we're assigning it a value. We are assigning a random value to it. So what it's going to do is it's going to go through all of these different colors here. And it's going to pick a completely random one. And we're also going to do a wait. Do 5. Now what this is a wait command with the parentheses. You just put in a number in here, and that's how many seconds the script is going to pause, essentially. And we're just going to copy this code. We can do Control-C, create a new line, and just Control-V to have it again. So what's going to happen here is when the game first starts, it's going to assign a random color to our part. It's going to wait 5 seconds, and it's going to assign another random another random color to the part. So I'm going to test it here. Boom, it's yellow, and it just turned to like a green. So there you go. I'll give you a second to look over this code again. I'll break it down one more time. We're going to the game, into the workspace to find the color brick, which is our little guy right here. It's this dude. And then we're going into its properties, right? We're going into its properties, and we're going to its brick color. And we're using this equal sign to assign a value, which in this case is a certain color, and we're giving it a random color. So brick color dot random. All right. So far in this video, you've learned how to print. You have learned how to find certain things inside of the Explorer using your script. You have learned how to assign properties to said things, and you've learned how to use the await command efficiently. So when you're writing super long code, having to write game.workspace.colorbrick.brickcolor, all that's going to get really repetitive. And it's going to get really, so what repetitive means, in case you didn't know, it's just like really irritating because you're doing it over and over and over again, right? And when you're scripting on Roblox, or really just anything in general, game developers, you have one job: to be as lazy as possible while still getting the job done, right? Because when you learn how to code, you're going to be coding a lot. It's going to be very time consuming, and you are going to try and figure out ways to, how can I get this done faster? How can I put as little effort in and still get it done so I can put other time and energy into other things? And we have a friend called a variable that is going to help us do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to type in local, and we can name this anything we want. We could, like, just same thing with the string. You could name it pizza. You could name it trees. You could name it computer. Literally anything you want. But for the sake of understanding what our variable actually is, I'm just going to call it the part. Whoops. Call it part. And I'm going to type in game.workspace.colorbrick. Now what this means is every time that I type in part in the script past this line, it is going to think that I'm talking about this, which is awesome. So instead of typing in game.workspace.brickcolor.colorbrick.brickcolor equals brickcolor.random, I can just type in part. So part.brickcolor equals brickcolor.random. So this line is exactly the same as this one. It's just a lot shorter and took less time to write because I used a variable. So let me do wait 1 second. And we are literally just going to keep copying and paste this. Boom, 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 boom. And it knows we're talking about this one. So I'm going to go in the game and show you. Wait 5 seconds. There. Now every second is going to be changing a different color. And we did not have to type in all that messy line of game.workspace.colorbrick.brickcolor. We could just type in part because we use this variable. Right? So I'm going to end the video here. We're going on almost 20 minutes. And I think you guys learned some valuable information here. I'm just going to go over recap. We learned how to print. We learned how to find certain items inside the Explorer using the script. We learned how to find properties and assign properties using a script. We learned the await command. And we also learned variables. And those are everything that you learned today is very, very important. And if you don't understand something, please do not hesitate to either leave a comment or feel free to rewatch the video as many times as you need, because I really want you guys to learn how to script. It's a really big thing. People always act like scripters are like gods on Roblox, but the truth is it's really not that difficult. It is really scary and it might be hard at first, but once you understand it, you can become a pro developer and make games that will end up on the front page easy. It'll take time, but you can do it. And I really want people to understand that on Roblox, because if you try and hire a developer or whatever, they'll charge an outrageous amount of money just because, you know, they're giving you this story about how hard scripting is, and they know how to script. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. And I hope it helped you. If you learned something, please feel free to give me a like and subscribe if you're new here. And like I said, if you have any questions or just want to say hello, please comment. I appreciate all the feedback that you guys give me. I love reading the comments while I'm working my full-time job. I love getting those notifications on my phone, like, hey, someone commented. It makes me feel good. So I will see you guys in the next one. In the next video, I will be teaching you functions. Functions are very important as well. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.